Hey Sugar Snaps, in this video I'm going to share how to finish your rag rug and take it off your loom, as well as cover some care instructions. Welcome to the fourth part in my rag rug weaving series. If you're new to my channel, check the description below. I have the previous videos in this series linked there. And welcome into the studio. If you're an old friend and you've been following along this series with me, then I'm excited to finish our rag rugs together today and take them off the loom and go over how to take care of them once you start using them. So my loom here is empty because I've taken finished and taken my rug off. So I'm going to share those steps with you here now. To finish off this rag rug, we're going to fill in this space. So continue weaving from one side towards the middle, and then I'll flip it around, weave towards the other side towards the middle, and then I'll show you how to fill in the space once you get close to meeting the two sides together. When you get to the point where you're weaving, you only have a small amount of space, you'll start weaving from the end of your weaver and pulling the length through so that you can fit it through the space. And we'll continue the same twining pattern we've done for the entire project, just alternating which piece you use. And if it gets to the point where that's too hard to do with your fingers, you can always try a large tapestry needle or something else to send it through rather than using your fingers. For the sake of the video, I have this laid out flat, but you can do this, and it might even be easier to do this set upright so you can see it better, and then you can push from the front to the back and grab it from the back rather than trying to catch it front and front for each stitch. So I have two sets of ends here at this point, and I haven't finished off this end that I started from this side of the rug. I'm going to finish off this end from this end of the rug and meet them in the middle. So right here, my pieces have started to push together. So I'm going to go in and pack those a little bit closer to make myself just enough space that I can get one more row packed into this. If you find that yours is really nice and packed already and you don't have any give, then you can just kind of move them closer so that your warp fabric doesn't show through and end your pieces like I'll show you wherever they land. I'm going to weave this end towards the middle here and then add some fabric to this side and weave from this side of the rug, the top part here, towards the middle, and then meet the two in the middle to tie them off and finish them off together. Okay, I'm going to leave these tails in the middle, come into this edge and kind of pack these together so that there aren't any gaps. And now I'll work from this end. I'm going to continue weaving up until I meet these ends. So I'm filling in this tiny gap, which is a little bit tedious, but you'll keep doing one stitch at a time and meet the middle. Now I've woven these ends, so this section here is coming from this direction and these two are coming from this direction. I'm going to crisscross them, so this piece is going to catch the piece that's furthest away, this piece is going to catch the piece that's furthest away. And now I'm going to create a little knot here between the two to hold them in place. And then you can come in flip your rug upright and you'll send this through to the other side. So come under your rug and try to tuck this through to the underneath of your rug, pull it through, and then push it up one space over. We're trying to lose our ends into the body of this rug. Like so. And then we can trim that end. We'll do the same thing with these ends as well. I cut these down so that they're not as long and unwieldy. This one I can cut flush because I just wove that end in. So I'm going down in a space nearby and up on the other side of the following warp. You can do that by using your finger or an awl or some other tool to create a hole that then you can send the fabric through. So these two I can cut flush because I've ended, woven those ends in. Now I have one more. If you were to take an awl or some other tool, you can make a space by sending that down into the fabric and then pressing the end of the tool onto the end of the fabric, which pushes it down. And you could do the same thing on the other side, or create a space from the top and catch that space with your finger and push the fabric back up. So now I'll cut this end flush. So now my ends are woven in, but they aren't visible because I've tucked them in to the body of the fabric. And that is finishing off the weave structure of your rug. If you want updates about the Textile Indie content and a full digest of all the latest content that we've put out, you can sign up for my email update list. You can use this QR code or the link in the description below. So the next step to finishing your rag rug is to pull it off of these pegs or the nails on the end. But if you have metal bars on the side that you were weaving around, you'll want to pull those out first. So I'm going to grab the end and wiggle this through. Mine's nice and firmly tucked in there, so this can take some doing. Then you can pull it off the pegs. And then your rug is free. Take it off, remove your loom, lay this out, and we'll finish off these tied ends. But first, admire your rug off the loom. It's nice and tight, dense. Your edges are nice and straight. Hopefully, if you had those metal bars or if you're weaving, you could balance your weaving out. You can see both sides kind of mimic each other. Undo this knot that we put in the corner so that we have just a free tail to work with. That's tight. So now the goal here is to take this end and work it up along the warp fabric that's next to it. So we have this raw end here. We're going to come over one space and put the end into this space and up into the rug. So on the corners here, I've come in and woven the end in. So I undid the knot and then took the end, it's right here, tucked it into the space and wove it under these sections of the weaving, and then cut the end under here so the raw end is hidden in the fabric right there. And I did that on both this corner and the other corner where I had the knot where I'd started and ended the warp. And now your rug is ready to use. You can come in and give it a little haircut, trim away all of these little frayed ends. You can do this as much or as little as you want. And then you can either throw this down on your floor and use it right away, or throw it in the wash. One idea at this point, because it probably has a lot of frayed ends, is to lift it up and kind of shake it out, and you can get some of the loose threads off of the surface, or run a vacuum over it to catch those threads, or hang it up and whack it with a broom or something to try to loosen those loose threads. And then you can see what is just loose threads tucked to the rug and what are frayed ends that you might want to trim down. Well, how exciting is this? We've completed our rag rug weaving project and it's ready to use. Before I sign off today, I wanted to talk a little bit about the care and keeping of your rag rug. You can put this in the wash, especially if it was a natural fiber or scrap fabric. You would treat it like you would treat the original fabric. So for this, the material I will use is a mix of cottons and wools and polyester. So I would put it on probably a cool setting just to ensure that any wool in it doesn't shrink. Wash it on cool, and then I would hang dry your rag rug to allow it to not cause any shrinking or any weird bubbling or extra beating of your rug. So hang dry it for probably a few days to get it to be completely dry. You can also rinse it out with a hose if you have a hose outside that you can lay this out flat and spray it with the jet setting on a hose, or lay this in a bathtub with some laundry detergent, kind of step on it in the bathtub to get all of the dirt out of it. So a couple different ways that you can wash it. You can go ahead and use this right away if you want to just plop this on your floor right now and start using it as your new beautiful rug, or trim it, get all the frayed ends off of it. That's going to take some doing since we used scrap fabric. But if that's something that you want to do, you can do that. And if you have any little ends that are sticking up from where we combine the fabrics, you can come in and make sure you don't cut the joint, but you can trim away any tufts. I think that a little bit of tufting sticking off the surface of your rag rug is okay. It just adds to the handcrafted nature of the piece. But if you want it to be a nice flat surface, you can come in and trim some of these little things sticking up away. A lot of times as I was weaving, I tried to tuck those under a warp or in between wraps of fabric so that they wouldn't show up as much on the surface. So that's something that you can do as you weave your future projects. Well, thanks so much for joining me in this rag rug weaving project. I hope you enjoyed your process. Let me know in the comments below how your project went. I'd love to hear about that. Like this video and subscribe and hit the bell to get notified whenever I put out a new video. And I so appreciate you being here. It means a lot to be able to make these videos and post them on YouTube and on my website. So until next time, happy making. See you later. I'm just gonna plop this down right here and do a little test it out. That feels nice. It's very, very thick, but it's quite soft, which is very nice. This will be a good, like, yoga meditation rug. Look at that.